look happy to see us, just like old times.
If anyone does not know what I'm doing, that was supposed to be Wrecker, because he has a great when he goes for it, he goes for it.
He goes for it all the way.
He has in a similar vein, sort of like a Nick Cage. Like, hey, he'll deliver it, and he's gonna go for it. Sometimes it might come off
Even on the Oscars, the last one.
Exactly.
It was
This is a quick. This will be 10 seconds long. My wife Abigail and I were watching. We're watching. I almost said Family Guy, but Family Man, the Family Man, the Nick Cage Christmas movie. And he has this. He's pretty normal in most of the movie, but he has a couple of lines where he kind of just like snaps, and he has like these like strange.
The classic Nick Cage
lines.
freak out.
But he has a great delivery where he's talking to his like rich Wall Street employee, Wall Street broker boss, and he's like, what are you doing? I don't see you running home to trim the tree. And it's such a trim the tree. And Abigail like looked at me, and we both like, what? And we gotta rewind that again. He's like having a pretty normal conversation. He's like, oh, you're still here on Christmas Eve. I don't see you running home to trim the tree. All of a sudden, it's just like he like hurried up and just spouted out there, which it was great. So back to Star Wars, Bad Batch, Nate.
Bad Batch. Where can they find us?
Where can they find us? This has been the Nick Cage Cast.
It.
The Cage Cast.
The Cage Cast.
Hey, welcome back to Star Wars, guys. We're excited to dive into Bad Batch 2 episodes
Double
this week.
header.
Infiltration and
Extraction. Yeah, we're excited. Great episodes, and makes sense why they did 2 at a time the way that first one ended. But we're excited. Welcome back to Star Wars, guys. As always, we are your hosts, Mike.
Hello there.
Myself, Nate. Hello there. And you know him well, Uncle.
Hello there.
Oh. That sounds like Crosshair.
Crosshair. Hello there.
Hello there.
Oh, man. I love it. And exciting news before we dive into it, because normally we just jump right into it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We got a sponsor
We do.
Hey.
for the remaining episodes of our Bad Batch review.
Mm-hmm.
I love
We
it.
got a sponsor by Legion Sabers. You've probably seen some of their sabers here. We've talked about them before. They got some good stuff. I'm sitting on one of the blankets of their partnership with Sackcloth and Ashes, some Star Wars blankets. Great company, great morals behind them. So I'm just going to read this off for us. But
Yeah.
this episode is sponsored by LegionSabers.com. Is your lightsaber a fragile toy? LegionSabers.com sells battle-ready NeoPixel sabers. Those are the best kind, my favorite. You've seen a bunch of them. That can take a beating in style with features like Flash on Clash, Smooth Swing, and Gesture controls. Upgrade your saber today and experience the lightsaber battles your inner child has always dreamt of. I've been enjoying swinging these things around. But there's more. This month only, buy any saber, get a free mystery box baselit, absolutely free, with the code Star Wars Guys.
Star Wars
Code
Guys.
Star Wars Guys. Use it at the checkout.
That's us.
That's us. Use the code
It's like
Star
old
Wars
times.
Guys, and you get a free mystery baselit lightsaber with your purchase of any other saber. Visit LegionSabers.com today. Again, use the code Star Wars Guys at LegionSabers.com for your battle-ready NeoPixel lightsabers.
Yeah.
These things are sweet. You guys
Awesome.
have seen them around.
They're sweet.
They are.
They're a lot of fun. But yeah, check them out. Good company. And yeah,
Who doesn't
we
want to
like 'em.
upgrade their saber game? That's
And their
absolutely
partnership
And
with
you're sitting on
Sackcloth
the,
and Ashes is
Is that twin sons there you're sitting
yeah,
on?
twin sons.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
it's not super. It's nice. 'Cause
That's
you,
why I
you
like
can't
it.
tell from here when you're kind of sitting on it using it, but
Yeah.
when you open it up, you can see it's Tatooine. You got a little shadow of 3PO and R2 and Luke. It's cool.
I always like the subtle.
It's for
like
real
the-
Star Wars fans.
I like it
Yeah.
so that like if you didn't know, if you're not like that into Star Wars, you don't know what it is. It's not something that's just like Star Wars.
That's right.
You know, that type of thing, which is also great. But I like it where you like
Yeah.
well, it can blend in and it can be
They're cool.
also a Star Wars person go, I see what you got there. That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
And they're a good size.
I was
They're
going to say,
big.
they're big.
Yeah,
There's
that's always
nothing
key for a
worse.
blanket.
Hate that.
When you're our height, there's nothing worse than
my height, you get these blankets, you pull them
blanket
up
that
and
are-
your feet are.
Yeah.
That's
know.
Yeah.
no
That's
good.
the worst.
That's great.
there you go. There you
Legion
have
Sabers.
it. Legion
Awesome.
Sabers. Bad Batch. We're excited to dive into it. But we usually start with overall reviews, but I guess we'll do combined both episodes. It did
Yeah.
feel like
It felt like one.
one continuous thing, so it makes sense why they.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Because
They
if it
double
if it
release.
had stopped, I would have been like,
Yes,
Yeah.
ugh.
definitely.
Yeah.
This needed to be. This was a two-parter for sure.
What do you guys think? Overall thoughts?
That was great.
Yeah.
Tons of action,
Mm-hmm.
mystery. We got a new weapon again for Omega.
Which is
yeah.
not great in the misty dark.
Exactly.
when
I
they're
was
trying
like,
to sneak
turn
around.
that thing off.
I know. I was like, oh, geez.
You're gonna
They're
get us all
sneaking.
killed. Yeah.
It's like reminding me of the kids in Jurassic Park who's got the flashlight on and it's flying. And they're like, turn it off, turn it off.
Turn it
And the
off.
T-Rex is right there, waiting to see any movement. The flashlight's going around in the Jeep.
Yeah, great. Tons of
Yeah.
action. Loved it. And the mystery character, I was like,
Yeah.
Asajj. Well, I don't know.
I know.
But yeah, I think it was
I have
awesome.
some
That
thoughts
was
on
awesome.
where the Asajj connection might be coming.
Yeah.
Because I think, well, this is part of the overall thoughts. I love the episodes. I really loved it as well as I think that it's, again, we're heading down a path where these episodes, even an episode like this that doesn't involve necessarily them being on Tantus, they're mentioning Tantus a bunch because
Right.
it's all like, it feels very forward moving, the plot right now. Even though they're going to other places to figure out some of the information. This was so the Asajj thing. Prediction. And I'm not the first to say it. I actually heard someone else kind of say this, I think, online. But the M count, they mention M count again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Omega's like, M count, whatever. And she's like, doesn't know
Doesn't know
exactly
what
what
it
that is. And the clones aren't just like, oh, yeah, that's midichlorian. Like, it would be
Mhm.
really weird if Wrecker's like, oh, that tells you if you're a Jedi. Like, he doesn't know.
Right.
But there are people out there who do know their connections to some of the other Jedi that maybe have survived the Order 66. A Quinlan Voss, who in the book Dark Disciple has a relationship with Asajj Ventress.
I was thinking about
that's-
Quinlan
Yeah.
throughout this show.
That
too.
can be, and there's a connection to the Path as well.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be because I believe she has in the trailer. I think she kind of has the Dark Disciple look, like the hairdo and stuff of that same time period. Which
Yeah.
that book is like her and Quinlan Voss, and there's a lot of stuff going on in that. So I think that we need to know what an M count is. Who's the expert in knowing what M counts are?
Yep.
The Jedi that are out there. That could lead to, and that also could make sense how we get maybe, as we predicted at the beginning of the season, a Ventress episode or a couple of episodes, but that she's not like, okay, now she's going to help solve the mystery for you
Yep.
guys, like the
Yeah.
whole thing.
She's in
And
there.
we're just going to have the Jedi take it from here. The Bad Batch are still going to be the driving force of it. But it makes sense how they would need some information. They get the information, and then kind of our Jedi Force user characters maybe move on after that.
Mhm.
But overall reactions, I like extraction type of movies, shows, episodes. Those are always interesting where you've got a group, they're trying to go in, they're trying to get either information, like even like a Rogue One, or like we're trying to extract the information so we can get out of here.
Yep.
This having capturing one of the Imperial operatives, and then having the nameless assassin
Yeah.
still out there that's on their tail now because they've
Mhm.
tracked them to the location. I love all that stuff, and I love that it's all feeling like, and then it's tying into Star Wars Rebels, which we get Wolf, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. This is kind of the fate of not just the Bad Batch, but the actual clone troopers themselves, like as a whole, is kind of at stake. Where you see Wolf's crew going like, "Wait, we're hunting clones," like, and they're not exactly sure. This is
Mhm.
kind of that moment where, there's a realization of
They're starting to question what's going
they're
on.
trying to
a
be
little
like,
bit.
have we been manipulated? But they haven't had their moment yet of kind
Yeah.
of realizing.
Yep.
So there's so much that was happening there. I thought it was like a lot of great character stuff. I love the Crosshair and Omega relationship still, and like they're now like
Yeah.
jabbing each other and like the banter already and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Yeah,
great.
I agree. Thought it was great. It also it was, I thought, a good way of getting back to Rex and this clone, like, hidden hideout that they've been building of different clones that they've been able to save and rescue. And it seems like that's become, I mean, we kind of knew a little bit of that before, but that's clearly become like their mission, like why Echo went and joined them, about helping their brothers, helping, helping them kind of have that realization of what's been going on with the Empire and figuring out a way to take them in, essentially. I thought it was interesting too how he mentioned like they've come across a couple of what they call like the shadow clones. I wonder how many they've come across and how many they've then helped and like taken in after, or if they have taken in any of them, because it seems like Crosshair made it seem like no, they're like brainwashed, like. But anyway, it gets me wondering. I guess I could pose the question too. It was like, does Crosshair know more than he's leading on? Like, not like intentionally or like in a negative or like bad way, like he's doing something sneaky, but like is there parts of that and his experience that he's not proud of while he was there that he's not sharing with them? For instance, I had thoughts going through my mind throughout these episodes as Crosshair maybe was part of who trained those like shadow clones. The reason I'm saying is that he's running around with the same sniper that Crosshair has. They're having a sniper shootout, and he was good. Like the other one's skilled.
You're talking about like the assassin.
The assassin clones.
It did feel like him versus
felt
the
like a
assassin
counterpart.
felt like this is what you would continue to be or would become had you stayed.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of like a mirror version of each other.
And it made me wonder, like, he was defective and didn't make it through, and he had the shakes and stuff while he was still there at, So, like, it I don't know. It just started running me through my mind, like, and he recognized him and looked up. I mean, there were a ton of clones at this facility.
Yeah.
And he recognized Crosshair immediately and kind of called him out like they should be asking him more questions. It made it feel like maybe because he even said in a couple episodes before, like, I've done things I'm not proud of. I wonder if part of that is before he realized he wanted to be defective and leave, that he was involved in actually getting that crew going.
Yeah, because it was. Remember, she was marking off the wall. She was there. They were there for months.
Yeah.
And he was there before her.
Yeah.
And he also said he understood what was coming.
Yeah.
Better than so he knows.
Yeah. He's like, no, we have to get out of here. They're tracking these
how
people.
They work and what they're capable of.
Yeah. So is it more so just that they tried to make him into one of these people and he ended up not doing it or not taking, or they didn't, he ended up just like kind of rebelling against that? Or is there more to it and that he was involved in some of helping train them or something? I don't know.
No, I think it's also, we were talking about him knowing a little bit more too. We don't know how much. I think so. The bad guys in this episode are trying to cast doubt on him because they want it to disrupt the group. But I do think he does know more than he's sharing, but not necessarily like, oh, I know the answers and I'm not giving you the answers because I'm trying to hurt. But it's more like someone who knows more and just is not sharing it. But eventually it could be helpful to know more of what he's seen and what he's been through. He also is the first to, right when he sees them, he's like, what is he doing here? He's like, we've got to get out of here. Like, as soon as he knew that he was there, he knows they're tracking him.
They have ways of tracking him.
Which, as smart as the other clones are, they were like, we're going to kidnap him and then we're going to interrogate him. And he immediately is like, if
he knows
he's
all
there.
The details.
And then I like the way that
the
the
Empire's
episode's kind of
way.
shot. He's like, the episode, the way it kind of flows and is edited is like, what are you doing here? Like, they're going to track us. And boom, the assassin's already at the facility. Like, because they've tracked him. They're there. He's on his tail. They're coming. And I like that our main characters have already, for the most part, I think Hunter went through kind of his, I think it was the last episode, if not the one before that, went through kind of his rebuilding of his relationship a little bit, rebuilding of his trust with Crosshair, and when they fought the ice worm, or like when they survived the ice worm and all that. That was kind of their like, okay, you're regaining our trust. Omega said we can trust you. Okay, but let me see for myself, and then they kind of trust him a little bit more near the end of that episode. But that doesn't mean that the other clones would trust him, which I think this episode is really good at. The other clones are like, why would we trust this guy? Like, first of all, the other clones didn't have the same relationship with Crosshair that the Bad Batch did. If we remember, even at the beginning, the other clones kind of feel the Bad Batch is a little bit of an outcast, kind of an outlier. Anyways, like they're friends with them, but they kind of like the Bad Batch is their crew, just like there's other kind of clone forces within. But so I liked that dynamic though of them not trusting him, because it would make sense that when he, who was defective and traitor, all this stuff, then comes back, that the larger organization would have a lot of questions about that. And then I like that at the same time, the bad guys are like, why don't you ask him? He knows what's going on. This. And isn't that right, brother? Like, they lean into it. They also, the way they shot,
that's
like
the only time he says something.
I know. But they really made him look sinister.
His eyes
when
looking
up.
up.
And he's like looking like shoulders down and just like looking up. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's getting such a great moment.
Kubrick stare.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah, it was the stare. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that whole dynamic was cool. The clones. That's what I was saying earlier, that this feels like an episode not just big for the Batch, but big for the clones in general and the survival of the clones. Because this leads to, it's interesting for us who have seen Star Wars Rebels, that a couple of these characters in this scene we know make it.
We know where
we know make
and where
it.
where they end up.
Doesn't mean they're in good shape. Wolf in particular, when we see him, he's
hurting.
He's really struggling. He has some serious like PTSD that appears from the stuff that's going on in this time period and a little bit before, with like the whole obviously Order 66. But it's really interesting, because we've always wondered, like, how do some of these clones not only survive, but like how do they make it this long through? It's one thing to survive Order 66. But just like we've seen in the Kenobi series and in these other things, it's another thing to then stay safe and survive.
Yeah.
When we know that the Empire, after Order 66, grows, becomes the dominant force, becomes what it is, where they've built the Death Star all the way through to Return of the Jedi, then finally, defeated. So I've liked all this stuff that's, again, piecing in other parts of Star Wars, and in this, other parts of Star Wars animation. I always like it when it connects. I think it's cool.
Yeah, and I've loved the Crosshair Omega like story arc, kind of like the episodes as this season's progressed.
Yeah.
But coming now with the return of Crosshair with the rest of the batch and everybody coming together, and now adding Rex and Echo, it felt like almost, even though Crosshair and Omega are still part of weaving into this, their relationship is still weaved in with the rest of them, it does feel a little bit of a change of pace, because now it's like boom, action, all this, they're getting hunted down. And I thought it was interesting too, Rex talking with Hunter basically about Omega's future, and basically saying they're after her again already. Like, for you to keep her safe, you can't just keep,
it's never going to stop until
you can't just keep running. You can't just keep hiding.
You have to.
You need to figure out why they're truly after her. What makes her so special? And then, I mean, we kind of had that idea in mind that was going to happen eventually. That they were going to find out some of the information that we're seeing unfold. But once they know, I'm interested to see how that will affect where they go from there.
Yeah.
Is it so much so that they can't risk having her out and doing a bunch of these missions and getting captured again? Because look at the alternative if they actually succeed in capturing her and having these M count transfers and basically doing what they want to do could be catastrophic for everybody.
Yeah.
And so it makes it like, is that the end game of this season and this story for the Bad Batch, is that them finding out her importance and realizing we have to go just live out, like she's got to live somewhere discreet and kind of just
Pabu.
remain. Yeah. Papa. But I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, is that where the story's heading in terms of how they get to a point of living out the rest of? I don't know. She's so young though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
easier
seems
for
weird.
for a retired soldier who
It seems-
rapidly is aging.
I
Because
know.
they're also they're accelerated. Like at some point, she's gonna be like 20, and these guys could be like 90 because they just age so fast.
Yeah.
And then
But-
she'll be like, "Are we sure we should have gone to Papu?" Like,
I
she's gonna be
know.
like, maybe I'll need to go live my life. But they're trying
Or
to
are
keep
they
her
going to
safe.
get involved with just like more people to help keep her safe? Like that was another thought I had.
Yeah.
Them no longer just being the batch by themselves and doing their own thing and their missions, but actually coming and joining this rebellion
Mm-hmm.
and actually becoming part of the group with more protection.
Yep.
As you know, with Rex and the Path and the actual Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Did Hemlock make it clear to the Emperor that Omega is that important, or is this? Seems like he didn't.
I don't think he made it clear to
to
the
the Emperor.
Emperor.
But he flat out
But
says
he
it once, because he says to Nala say, like, I understand now why.
I
of
think that
all
was
the
after
tests,
the Emperor already left. Yeah.
after he had left.
So what I'm getting at is if Hemlock, if Tantus is destroyed and Hemlock is destroyed, can Omega slip back into obscurity?
Yeah, is there a
Is
chance
that
that
it?
he hasn't shared with
Because the
Emperor?
Is that
Empire's
it?
the Empire's after her, but it's Hemlock.
It's Hemlock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
the
And
question.
even-
Yeah, has
and
he
even
shared
his
it
own-
with the Emperor yet?
Even his
I
own
think
people
not.
don't know why they're after her.
Yeah.
Because Rex even says to Wolf, like, "Look at what you're doing. You're hunting a child. This isn't you."
Yeah.
And that was enough to make him realize, like, wait, yeah, I'm just taking orders.
Yeah. I don't think anybody else knows. So
Yeah,
if they're able to get in and take out Hemlock, I think that would be the end of it for Omega. She could live in obscurity then and do.
Hemlock
life.
feels
Yeah.
like the type who, while the smart thing to actually capture her might be for Hemlock to. I mean, he clearly has put these pucks out there, and like there's these the assassin
Without
like
knowing-
has her and
Right.
knows, but they don't know why. They don't know what her importance is, and he clearly could share it with the Emperor and be like, "Listen, this is she is the one. All of this he does."
See, but he can't though
Yeah, what I was
because
gonna
she
say
got
is-
away.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is he's
you
the
let her
type though that
escape.
he knows
Yeah.
she's the most important, but as soon as he says
By the way, we know who it
she's
is,
the most
and
important,
she
and
escaped.
also she just slipped. Then he goes, "Okay, you're done.
That's
Like,
it.
I'll get someone else
Yeah.
to go find her then."
He can't let it out until he gets her
And he's
back.
gonna be like, "I'm gonna send Vader to go find her or something
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that," and then all of a sudden, then the Hemlock's days are numbered. So he has to both.
He has to get her back discreetly,
He's also one of these guys
and then he'll share it.
who he for
Yeah.
sure is gonna want the credit on this whole thing too.
Yeah.
Like he wants the recognition of.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who knows the secret about it. I'm the only one who knows, other than Nala Se, who we've got locked in a cell or
Right.
whatever now.
Yeah.
So if this is gonna work, it's going to work by my hand, or it's not gonna work at all.
Mhm.
And we know that it clearly at the end doesn't work, at least to the Emperor's important, which is why we think that Hemlock's
That's
days
right.
are numbered,
Yeah.
because we don't see
And
see a
also she
scenario in which
She escapes.
Hemlock fails
Yeah.
the Emperor, and it doesn't go as planned, and the Emperor's like, "We'll just try again in 30 years." Like I think
Mhm.
that he's like, Hemlock's dead.
Yeah.
We'll
or
see.
yeah.
Or
Or he just
he
gets
gets a nice new glove, and he goes, he just goes on stage.
or he gets a nice
Or-
new glove.
Omega, are you okay? Are you okay, Omega?
That's why I'm so dangerous. You know that I'm dangerous. I'm a smooth criminal.
Have you ever done the Endor moonwalk?
Endor moonwalk.
That's
not a thing. I wonder when
That's
we'll
not
get-
a thing that people do.
I wonder when we'll get back to the Red Room, the secret the lair that he walks back into.
Oh,
on,
yeah.
and actually get a glimpse
see
at,
him
who's,
at
at
Tantus.
what's in the tanks there at Tantus. I wonder what we'll see and what's.
Once it's
I don't know.
destroyed, that's the shot we see when they pull back, and we see what's in there. Now
It's just-
now
it's
it's
just-
destroyed.
It's like Moff Gideon, but it's just 50 hemlocks. He's like, if I can't do it, my clones will.
Although the Emperor went in there.
Yeah.
No.
So he ain't allowing 50
no.
hemlocks.
That's true. You would see that.
Say,
The Emperor walks in and just goes, "Yeah, we're gonna shut this down
he
immediately."
looks at this and goes,
Just
word.
lightnings everybody.
He's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why do they all have shaved sides of their head and just hair on top that looks nothing like me?
It could be like the old fake
Looks
bills
nothing like
thing.
me.
The top one is the 20, and then the other ones are
Yeah,
like
that's it.
one.
Hemlock's just
It's
Stuff
one
it,
emperor
you
in the
stuff
front,
it.
then they're all
Hemlock's
hemlocks
just-
behind it.
Hemlock thinks the Emperor's just getting old. He's like, "No, they're you. They're totally you." It's just all close.
You used to look like that.
It's
Really?
you, they're just younger you.
He's sitting there going, stroking
It's
his
just
face,
you.
trying
He's
to-
looking at the crack down his
You're a good-looking fella.
He's
Do you
cover-
know that?
He is. He's looking, covering the crack on his face.
I'm reminded of young Frankenstein. You're a good-looking fella. Do you know that? It's Hemlock and the Emperor in there
It is.
singing.
That is.
Yeah. I
We've
want
got so many questions still. that are,
Yeah, do we have an for a second there I thought, ooh, what if the assassin is Crosshair?
It's a clone of Crosshair.
It's himself. He allowed
just
them to
got the
clone
little thing
himself,
on the
but
other
he
eye.
can't let it out.
What if part of their
No, it could-
like rehabilitation was taking some of Crosshair's DNA and mixing it with it? I don't know. I'm just going crazy.
What
But
if
maybe
it's
it did
Cross-
work, and he's. part
I
of it.
got it. It's Crosshair with hair, though.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's just got nice flowing locks. He's got down to his shoulders.
all of
It's
these.
him.
It's the
He
Kylo.
takes off the helmet and it's been up in this big bun. up
It's
here
the
and
Kylo
it's
Ren
down.
reveal.
The
He
Bad
takes
Batch-
the mask off.
The
and it's
feathery
just-
hair.
You're like, wait a second.
It's Crosshair. No, I'm long hair.
Oh, I get it. I didn't know Crosshair should have been called No Hair.
Just,
The helmet comes off, and he's like golden locks.
yes, you
Like
get a slow
Prince Charming.
montage, yeah.
Charming
How
from
about
Shrek.
Hauser
That's
too?
That's true, yeah.
You got Hauser
getting
back,
Yeah.
and he's
guys
got
back.
beef with Crosshair.
Of course he does.
He's coming in hot. Well, I mean, he
Hauser.
did. He is responsible for the
Makes
death of all
sense.
of his troops, but
Yeah, I would have beef over that.
yeah,
Well, I'm just waiting for Wolf to go mad.
Wolf's got to go mad eventually.
He
Does- Do we see Wolf again this season? Or do you think that was just a connective teaser because we
Because
know
we
he
see it,
survives?
Wolf.
and-
Well, it's interesting. They've shown us enough just in these 2 episodes that Wolf, I mean, again, in
his
Rebels,
path is
in
towards-
Rebels, they're white-haired, bushy beard. They're elderly guys, but he still has this like affinity for the Empire a little bit. Like
Yeah.
meaning, like he's like, oh, he's kind of like, oh, I kind of went along with the group, but I don't know, there was peace or there was the order, and they're like,
Wolf, listen to what you're saying. He's like, the Jedi betrayed us.
and they're like, no, Wolf, that was like 30 years ago propaganda.
Wolf,
Like, you're
we-
so old, like you're not listening.
Wolf, we
To,
took your chip out 50 years
It's
ago.
the old Hitler did some good things.
Wolf's
Like,
exactly
Wolf's
like,
wait a
I
minute.
put it
Hold
in.
on.
Wolf, open
Hold
your
on a
eyes.
second.
It was horrible.
Wolf's like, I had a backup chip I put in.
Yeah.
He's like, well, at least I had a steady day job.
Murdering people, Wolf murdering people. You're living out in
Work
the
is
desert.
work.
Now. Work is work.
I went home with a full belly at night.
Wolf, you monster.
They went full Mad Max on Geonosis by building all
They
these.
did go Mad Max. Those like tank things they're driving.
They took over and
Like
rebuilt
tanks with
all these.
spears
things.
shooting off of it. Yeah, they go full mad wolf. That's what it is.
Man, yeah. I
Right.
wonder if we'll see him again, or if that was just like a, hey, this is remember Wolf from Rebels. This is the start.
This
of
is the
him.
beginning of that,
Beginning
and the
of
beginning
him.
of a lot of them
Yeah.
waking up.
What
Could
do you guys
be.
think about Wolf? One, letting them go, but also just like the rest of his.
Just going along with it.
Just yeah. I thought that was
It's
interesting.
a tough dilemma because good soldiers follow orders. So he just gave them an order.
That's true.
How
Yeah.
do we?
And the
Because
one
if they
clone
question
commander,
him,
too,
now
is
they're
like-
actually
yeah.
they're breaking their own rule.
And they're like,
I know it seems.
but sir,
That's the thing.
It's a little too
the
easy.
interesting thing they're playing with on this show a little bit is the loyalty and the difference between being loyal to like your friends and then being blindly loyal just because you've been told by like a big institution to do something.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean like
there's
we're not telling you, especially in the military, it's a big thing. You're not supposed to like.
Yeah, but they're showing
if
a
you've
line.
seen a few good men.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's but I think that they're showing them like, okay, but there are lines. We don't blindly
Yeah.
do everything
showing the
because we are
difference.
people with
Mhm.
agency and we're not battle droids.
That's
what
right.
make us different than battle droids.
Yeah.
Is they just do whatever. Roger, Roger. Oh no, and they go do and they'll
Yeah.
walk right into a trap and get killed, or they'll just go kill people for no reason.
Yeah.
And these clones who have had their like awakening are trying to help him and like, look at yourself. This is a child. And then he's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
This is a child.
Yeah.
How did I get here? So I like that, like, because the soldiers in them, like, this is what Crosshair was dealing with, is like he's thinking of this thing of like, but loyal is my identity, is I'm loyal.
Yeah.
But being loyal, the people that you are serving, like, imagine you're loyal to this group of people, but behind them, this bad organization swooped in and took control of the group of people you're loyal to, or the organization you're loyal to. You're now following orders not from the people you originally were, but the people behind them that are the bad guys.
Yeah.
And the soldiers that are struggling post Order 66 that have kind of started to have these moments like Crosshair, and then eventually makes the jump over, is like, yeah, initially being loyal to the cause felt good because I felt like the people behind the cause I had more trust in. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, except that then you get Captain Man and you get Hemlock and all these people who are now behind the organization. You're like, I don't know. I didn't sign up for witch doctor-y stuff. Like this feels a little.
Yeah.
And,
I think.
but then they're starting to realize, like, no, you are. And then I like, though, I was gonna say, I'm kind of finishing out with Hunter and Wrecker and them, and Rex and Echo are like, no, you are loyal. You're loyal to us. You're loyal to the people that you know have your best interest at heart, not the people who just give orders. You're not loyal
Yeah.
because someone gives you orders. You're loyal because of the people that you've seen, have some sense of morality to them.
Yeah.
So I just like the bigger the
Yeah,
play
I
between
agree.
the two.
I think you're right. It's showing the difference between blind loyalty toward just like any given order, compared with loyalty to morality.
Yeah, and
you're
loyalty
still loyal,
to
but
those who
your
have been there
loyalty
for
to
you.
what's
Yeah.
right. There's a difference between loyalty to listening to like just anything and just doing it
Right.
versus loyalty to what like is morally right or wrong.
I think we're seeing the Bad Batch's legacy too, because they're gonna liberate them with an idea.
Yeah.
That's more powerful than them going from person to person
Yes,
to
and just
person.
Yeah.
literally here's
Liberating
every
the
chip,
clones.
here's
Yeah.
By spreading the idea that you can be a good soldier and not follow these ridiculous, sadistic orders,
Right.
yeah.
and that's going to be their, because it all
Yeah.
started with them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and they're gonna, I think, liberate Tantus, but then the idea of that's gonna spread, and
Yeah. I do
That's how
wonder
we
if
do it.
we'll see them connect to other mediums towards the end of this, of like, okay, they do get involved in the path, or it ends with
Mhm.
them just getting involved with the Rebel Alliance, and we're like, okay, this is kind of their story. They're now part of
yeah.
the Rebel Alliance, and that's like how they live out, the rest of their,
yeah,
It makes me wonder if that's kind of where we're heading, because for a little while I thought we'll see them just kind of live off and kind of do their own thing, but now seeing like Rex and Echo and the cause of the clones, it feels like they are soldiers, and Omega has continued to tell this throughout, is like every time they tell her to stay behind or something, she's like, no, I need to do this because we couldn't liberate them the first time, so we have to go back.
Yeah.
It's in their DNA to continue to fight and to continue to be soldiers, but now they can do it for the Rebel Alliance or
Yeah.
their own mission, as far as just like you said, going around liberating the clones. I wonder if we'll see that kind of become the end of the end in terms of what we see on screen, but
Yes.
kind of like the ending of,
We
all
see
right, now
where it's
they're
going.
living out the rest of their days
Yeah.
going in joining the Rebel Alliance or
could be.
with the path or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
We've seen so many times, and they still think of her as a little girl
Yep.
who they're protecting. She's a vital part of this team. If you take her
Yes.
out of this, they didn't get anywhere
Oh,
near
no.
this point if they
No.
take her out.
In fact, most of them are all dead.
Yeah, she
because
saved them
so many
saved-
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am getting a little nervous now because the crosshair coming in the connection there. Last week I said no one dies.
Yeah.
I think that might change.
I was thinking
I-
about that.
You mean Crosshair?
Hunter.
I could see it because he's Crosshair and,
Yeah.
and Omega now have developed the.
The strong
They've kind of
connection.
taken the
Yeah.
mantle, and you've actually even seen Hunter a little concerned by it a little bit, or
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to call it jealousy or whatever, but he's definitely like, you can see him being like, that I had that relationship with her,
Yep.
and now those two spent this time together, obviously escaping and
Right.
doing all this, and they've built this bond where, yeah, I could definitely see that.
I just wonder because what would solidify them more than one of them being killed by it? Then
And
they're
the leader, he's really the leader of their
then
group.
they're
Yeah.
they do it for
Yeah.
we gotta go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I could see.
Maybe
could
not.
see
No, I was
that.
thinking that too, especially with them teasing how close Crosshair got in this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be Crosshair. I don't know. I was
I don't
thinking,
know.
what if it's Hunter though? What if he doesn't make it out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Man. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
It's
I-
exciting.
it's been
where
great.
It's going.
Like I said, I think these these two episodes had a nice little bit of a change of pace, but
Yeah.
still included a lot of the Omega Crosshair connection with just some of the dialogue Crosshair jumping in to be the
My brain,
the
I can't help.
distraction.
The Crosshair connection, the lovers,
Remember-
dreamers, and me. Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here. Crosshair and
Rainbow Connection.
Omega.
Last week, so we're getting Rainbow Connection. We got last week we had a nice long bit about the Bad Batch bakery diner or whatever we had.
True.
Where all the people.
pizza.
It was a pizza parlor.
It's a bakery. Now I'm
Fresh
picturing,
pies.
I'm
Look at the Bad
picturing
Batch. Can take
Wrecker
your
in,
order.
in an apron
Yeah.
bakery.
You're gonna love these. Look, there's a nice sponge texture to it.
And they're sitting there, and now it's Great British Baking Show. It's Paul Hollywood. There's a nice sponge. You're just taking a nice bite of it.
I thought that the lemon was a little too acidic, but
And you just get Wrecker
Wrecker's
right
just-
next to all the people on Great British Bake Off or Great American Baking Show, where they're all like super calm, like
Yeah, it's Duff and Guy Fieri and
yeah.
Valerie Bertinelli and Wrecker on the
Wrecker's
end.
sitting there and he's got like a big like cartoon chef's hat on.
that was too much lemon.
He's judging now.
It's a bit tart.
For some reason, throwing these characters into anything else is hilarious. They work perfect for this show, and yet on any other scenario, they would just be.
It's wild.
And Wreckers barely makes it on this show because he's just. I love it. He's so out there. So
Did you guys see the posters that they released?
Yeah, I
for
saw a
Bad
couple
Batch?
of those.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see him yet.
the posters were sick.
Yeah, I
They
know
were
it.
really cool.
They released just the last couple days.
Just yesterday.
Couple
I
of
think.
yeah,
or,
I just saw 'em.
They posted some new character posters, and
Batcher was on one of those.
Batcher got his
I know.
own
Batcher.
poster. Omega didn't even get her own poster.
No,
She was shared with Crosshair. Makes sense, but then there's Batcher's got his
own
poster.
deal.
Oh, shared with Crosshair, not shared with Hunter.
I know. Who's Hunter? Man.
who's Hunter?
Hunter's the one I usurped.
He just took his place.
I am your father now. Who was Hunter?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be. Well, I liked watching this episode too and thinking, man, the first episode, it was like Hunter and Wrecker.
Mm-hmm.
It felt
That's
like,
right.
Like the batch.
Yeah.
We even talked about
I
like,
could see
man, it
'em all
feels like the
coming back
batches all
together.
kind of dwindled out
Yeah.
and spread out, and Echo's gone, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously Tech's gone, and Omega's captured, and we're watching it, and I'm like, it seems dwindled now. This
It's
episode,
bigger now. Coming
I'm
all
watching
together.
them all hop down the escape thing, and I'm like, this just feels good again, having
Yeah.
everybody back together. You got them all together with you add also in Hauser and Rex.
Yeah.
Got the gang.
I got a question. Do we think, when we're looking at the rest of the season as a whole, or the rest of the season and how it'll finish up, have we gotten our last Emperor appearance?
I don't know.
I think
could
so.
see that we have, yeah.
Because if
I
he
think
comes
his
back in,
purpose-
it complicates the whole. How does
they survive if the Emperor's
how can
there?
Omega get out of this thing?
Yeah.
If the Emperor knows that she's connected,
Yes.
Yeah.
so I think it's the last.
Yeah. Unless
Yeah.
maybe there's a loophole. Unless when they open the clone vats, we see a version of the Emperor. Then that's
Yeah.
technically part.
It
of
could
the-
be that.
Yeah.
that type of thing. But
If it's a version of the Emperor and not Snoke, that would be.
well, we know
And
that
then
the
they
Emperor's
destroy-
first plan is he's trying to get himself. I
No, I
think.
know, but imagine them getting that close and even succeeding, but then the Bad Batch destroys Tantus, and
And it all.
that's what causes the Emperor to never. I mean, we know that he gets clones of himself. They just were never fully.
Yeah.
They were
Right.
never full M count transfers.
The one, even though that's why the one in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
because
can't
the Rise of
completely
Skywalker,
hold
he's
him.
all
Yeah.
Right.
decre-
Mhm.
like all
Yeah.
deformed and
Mhm.
he's not a full M count, 1-to-1 transfer as they're talking about.
But you're right.
Mhm.
The Snoke
Until he
Snoke
gets
is-
the dyad.
Snoke is interesting because Snoke is
Force.
obviously a fully functioning, very strong force using. So you wondered, the Snoke, and we've seen the other Snokes that were in like the vats and stuff on Exegol. We've talked about this before, but like, when is the transition of like, we're trying Palpatine, we're trying Palpatine. All right, I'm gonna try Snoke, or like I'm gonna try a different thing.
Yeah.
Something
is
to
the-
buy time. It seemed like they went the Snoke
Or
route
is it
just
the
to
same,
buy time.
or are they two separate projects? Like, meaning, like, is there upon
Necromancer
order of the-
and
yes, is there upon order of the First Order or the Final Order or something? They're like, we need a new figurehead, and maybe he secretly introduces Snoke, and like everyone behind it doesn't know that he's a clone. Like, I don't get the feeling that like Hux knew that he was a clone.
No.
Mm.
I don't think anybody else knew.
no.
So there's a chance that there could have been something along those lines. Also, because he's not fully, he's maybe not even making that decision at that point. Maybe it's the Sith acolytes and stuff like that. Because post Return of the Jedi, he falls, and it's not like he then is fine and he's out there doing all these experiments. It's like they're trying to resurrect him and get him back, and like his spirit is out there. But he's not sitting there in a chair still calling all the shots, I
Yeah.
don't think, while this is
No.
happening. So the question is really, if Snoke isn't in place before his fall in Return of the Jedi, maybe it's someone else who, like, maybe upon his request of what he left there,
His contingency.
plan, someone else ends up
Was
getting
release
Snoke there.
Snoke.
Because he says, he takes credit for it. I made Snoke. But also, I've never thought about that before, that as far as him being in his physical form, that would have to be Return of the Jedi time period in which he's putting Snoke out there then.
Yeah.
As far as like him actually being the one in the chair calling all the shots.
Yeah.
Even though his like it's a little murky, kind of
And
it's
even
a
that
little
do-
Voldemorty,
and even
'cause,
that
like his
doesn't-
essence is
even
still
that
out there, but
doesn't
not his
come-
full
Right,
return.
right,
and even
right,
that
right.
doesn't come immediately, or else
Yeah.
the Empire would have
I mean,
not
that's a good-
fallen the way it did, because
True.
it's 30-something years until.
Because I've always
Force
thought that. I
Awakens
made
and-
Snoke, but when? Because we know you fell and were defeated, but not completely killed.
Yeah, at what
because
point
of-
does the First Order actually take power against the New Republic?
Now, I've always told you, one of the things I always love is that the First Order is clearly these Imperial admirals, Imperial remnants, and people, and they've had
Mhm.
some books that are the Aftermath trilogy, which takes place a little bit after Return of the Jedi. They start showing the place, like these things in place that clearly are leading towards the First Order. And then I love that somewhere in there, Snoke / now Palpatine, or Snoke on Palpatine's behalf, literally, like, I think just like sees an organization that's already rising on its own, kind of almost.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, we'll go be the figurehead of this. We'll do none
Yeah.
of the dirty work. Like, we'll have everyone do all the groundwork and kind of build up this organization out in the unknown regions. And then be
Yeah.
like, and maybe with the help of, Thrawn. Although that's a whole nother question, because I don't see Thrawn ever seizing power to anyone willingly.
No. I don't
Even
think so.
like,
I would
especially
say
if the
no.
Emperor's gone, or like
Oh,
somewhat
yeah, I
gone.
don't
I
see
don't
that.
see Thrawn being like, I'm doing this to serve the Emperor. He's like, no, I'm doing this because even he's like, for the Empire. But in his mind, he's like, my Empire.
It's also
now.
it's my thing.
It's my thing now. The Emperor's gone. I don't
Yeah.
think Thrawn was ever some super
Servant guy.
emperor
No,
servant
no.
loyalist. He
No.
was
Right.
more like he was one of these like, I believe in the Emperor. I believe in the Empire because I believe in the power it gives me, and I believe that
Yeah.
with this institution I can control
can
and
do
do a
what I
lot of
want.
things and control a lot
Yeah.
of people. Not like he's not sitting there and like every night he's going to bed going like, I miss you, Emperor. This. He's like, great, you're out of the way. I'm
Mhm.
now the top dog.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that are like, Thrawn has to then eventually get out of the way or be defeated
Yep.
before the First Order, because he's clearly not involved in anything going on in Force Awakens or anything like that. That seems to be
Right.
well after that. So there's a lot of steps to get. We know the pieces. It's just how is this gonna
Come together.
come together?
Yeah.
But
And
it's
it
cool.
all
I like what they're
starts
doing.
with cloning.
Oh, like I say, the Wizard
Secret's
of
only
Oz.
the Sith now,
I thought he was gonna say the Bad Batch Bakery.
along with the rest of the world.
All starts
Universe.
with.
Hey, is it possible?
Charlie from
I read
Lost.
this theory. Is it possible that the assassin is a reincarnated tech?
Did you see that some people were actually
read
saying
that.
because he fell,
Yeah.
and that people always say, especially in Star Wars, if he
You don't
fell,
see
you
it.
don't see the thing, or this. It's like a little Winter Soldiery.
Yeah.
Bucky falls off,
And they bring him
and then
and
they get
they
him, and then
capture
they do
him
stuff,
and they
then
revive
it's
him.
really
and
Winter Soldier.
It
They
is
turn him
Winter
in.
Soldier.
They turn
Really
him into they turn him into a super soldier. That would be.
I would say no.
I'd say no too. It'd
But-
be
I
funny
say
though
no.
if they take off his helmet, and it'd be so telling. If they have his helmet, he's just got these giant goggles on. They're like, this is the only clone who's ever worn goggles.
What's your story?
What's your
Goggles?
story? Hey, Brown Eyes.
Yeah, I
How you
don't-
doing, Brown Eyes?
I know
I used
people
to
have
help
been
run a
speculating
bar
that,
on
but I
Cheers.
think he's gone.
Do we have a theory of who the assassin is? Is it anybody or is it just
I
somebody?
thought once they revealed the other one, the first one,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that it was just.
It's just another.
I took it as
Just
it's
it
just
got out
another
there.
shadow. It's another clone shadow.
I think
that
there's
was
something,
sitting-
but climbing out of the water at the end, it feels
Yeah,
And
this
and
person could
feels
not die. By the way.
bigger. Yeah.
How many times did we
That's the
think he was-
thing, is
Feels
they
bigger.
clearly could have, like the show could have killed this
Could have been
this
it.
guy and did not. But then they also made it a thing that, like, then he tried to use his comm, and his comm's not working, so then maybe he's going to be stuck there for a while. It feels like there's something bigger to it. I'm not saying that then there'll be a
Yeah.
big reveal, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we know exactly who this character is, but there's something about the fact they haven't revealed,
This, yeah.
or that they've
they're
kept
not
the character
finished
alive.
yet.
Because, like you said, it could have been just like they revealed the other ones. If this is just like, here's some nameless assassin people, like, it's interesting that he fell off a waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in that scene, I saw someone else point out the literal, like, baptism almost of Crosshair. Like, he's
Right.
literally held under the water. He's, like, comes
Yeah.
up, and then he's a new man afterwards. Or, like, that he's got a new outlook on. Also, while the actual thing that he was is
Is
staring
holding
at
him down.
is holding him down, and is
He
the thing
overcomes
that
what he
killing him.
was, comes up out of the water
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very
I
interesting.
don't know. We'll see.
I know, and we will see.
I know exactly.
I know exactly what's going to happen.
Vincent in the chat says, "What's up, Star Wars guys? Imagine if Tech was the assassin."
Hey, we just said that.
Oh.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that a little bit. Take off the helmet, and his goggles are just sitting there.
Goggles. What's your
That
story?
would be crazy.
Goggles?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be. I don't know if they'll bring Tech back. I mean, I think they could. It's possible. They brought back Maul, so they could bring anybody back. I don't know.
I would like it though if it is Tech. They take off the helmet, and he wakes up, and they're like, and you see, and then all of a sudden Sid pops up out of nowhere,
What's your story? Goggles.
and then actually, then you get
The
on the other,
assassin
then you get
is-
on the
Wanda
other side,
Sykes is over there.
then you get on the other side, popping up.
I actually prefer brown eyes.
Brown Eyes.
Sid's
He's the only one who gets all these nicknames.
Sid's the assassin.
The least emotional
Sid,
character
you're-
gets all the love.
Sid, who's that clone that looks like a lizard body, like just a big old belly? That looks
Tail
just like
sticking out.
that looks like Sid.
Yeah, what's it to you?
Yeah,
Goggles?
what's your story, fatty?
I don't know.
I also thought it was interesting too. Like, some of the reasons why I guess I had some. They really made it seem like the assassin is Crosshair's like counterpart.
Yeah.
It really was looking.
It's the shadow.
looking at
For
Like
sure.
they talk about
It's the
shadow.
shadow.
It's like
Because
the
even
It's
even
his-
the
it's the
frame,
foil,
even
it's the other
the
side.
Yeah,
physical
yeah.
frame of the character was skinnier.
Yeah,
and ran the same way.
Oh, and
I
it's
know.
just a sharpshooter.
It's just in a that's why I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is
What if it actually
Crosshair.
is him?
Yeah.
It is Crosshair, but
Yeah.
it's
I
the
love
real
it. I love
Crosshair.
it.
It's the real one.
They said
The one
that
they have is not
is
him.
not him. Ooh.
Whoa.
Crosshair's like, no, I never. Empire.
Much worse.
He's just the best hunter.
And is that assassin going on his own? He's gone rogue, like
yeah.
not following orders.
No.
Not. I took it
I don't know,
as
it
he
just
just
feels-
follow. I took it
he's
as
following a bigger,
he's following
higher order.
a bigger order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That he's
Like you think you're giving
directly
me
from
orders, but
Hemlock.
I've got orders from Hemlock.
yeah, that might be.
Because they even say it's like a secret. He said Crosshair was like, no, it was like a secret
Yeah,
like organization they had of this.
I could
But-
see it. Couple other things if we're wrapped up on the Bad Batch part of this, but I know we've got probably a few
moving on to
minutes before we wrap
Dune,
up. Yeah, we wanted to talk about the
Kung
Listen
Fu-
al Gaib! Listen al Gaib!
Kung Fu Panda podcast.
Kung Fu, did you see Kung
Yeah,
Fu
we
Panda
saw that.
Made, did
We
you
saw
see it?
that Tuesday.
Was it great?
It was great. We loved it.
I saw
I
that.
love
fun.
Jack Black.
I
It's
saw
great.
that Kung Fu Panda 4 made
More
its,
than Dune
its
2?
opening. No, but
I'm just kidding.
Dune
made
Oh,
like $58 million domestically in its opening weekend, which
Wow.
is the second most of the 4 movies. I think only they said the first one I think made like 61. But they were talking about how
wow.
this was such a big
Wow.
win for Kung Fu Panda because like a lot of
Jack
trilogies
Black
or
is
series,
just killing the game right now.
Like a
He's
lot of-
amazing.
It's great. He's
yeah,
so
like
good.
a lot of movies or like they have series of films, they usually like boom if it's a big hit and then the next one's a
They all
little
kinda
bit
go down.
lower and
Yeah.
then a little bit, and that's what this was like, a little bit lower, then kind of a lot lower for the third one, and then this was a huge jump up and they were like they're going to make some more of
Let's
these
keep
probably.
going.
Just keep
Yeah.
going. But what I was going to say was
Skidoo.
Star Wars related though.
It's in
Star Wars related though. I saw there's been some more confirmation that I think the Grogu and Mandalorian film starts shooting in June. We've talked about this a little bit.
They're bringing Jack Black back.
Woo!
Jack Black is gonna be in the movie.
No, I did see though the Brendan Wayne, who is the I used to say the stunt double for Mando, but he's pretty much like he's like the Mando
Yeah.
now because
Mhm.
he does most.
Yeah.
Most people would admit. I think even
Pedro Pascal is the
said
face
it's-
of.
Pedro Pascal has
I do
openly
the
said
voice.
it's basically a voiceover gig.
Mhm.
Like at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That Brendan Wayne, who is in the suit, he's one of the 2 guys that's in the suit. There's not 2 guys in the suit.
Who
at
is
the
the
same time. That would be
grandson-
hilarious.
Right? The
grandson, yeah.
Grandson of,
Of
well,
Bruce
I tell
Wayne.
ya,
No, I'm just
Pilgrim.
of John Wayne.
John Wayne. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne's grandson. This guy's very rich.
Mr. Wayne.
He has said that to his knowledge, he was interviewed the other day about the movie and in this interview he was asked about a season 4. And he said to his knowledge, there's no talks of a season 4.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
Which to me
I
always
read
made
that.
the most sense. I always thought and was actually a little bit worried, as much as I love Mando. I was a little worried going into a movie having them already announced that there's a series coming afterwards, because that undercuts maybe the stakes of like our main characters. Like, I don't like necessarily knowing, oh, here's a movie, but we've already announced.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they've already
Because
announced.
then
that
you're
this
like, oh,
is
so
well, they're
they all
they're
survive.
alive. Like they're gonna be fine. So
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
kind of, again, not saying that I'm going into a Star Wars movie hoping that Grogu dies,
Mhm.
but it does, like any big thing they get into, when you go, oh, I know
I
they're
feel like this could be the
this
end.
could be the end.
So we're everybody's up
Yeah.
for
Also, I
grabs.
always thought that just business wise, I always wondered what that would be like of going show movie back to show.
Sure.
If that would kind of feel like there's kind of a like that the middle
Because then,
portion
see,
is
it
this
does-
kind of weird heightened
That wouldn't
thing,
make
but
sense to
then coming
me.
back to like a smaller stakes.
Yeah, the movie
on
still
screen.
feels
It
like
would be
the
weird to
ultimate
have a
thing.
season 3 not lead into a season 4.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't. It would lead into the movie.
That's the thing
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
it feels like it might.
was wondering kind of. So when I heard that, I know some people
Yeah, I
are
don't
like,
think-
"Oh, this might be
I
the
think
end
it'll
of
just be the
Mando or anything."
movie.
I was like, whether it's the end of Mando or not, we're not sure because it could lead to also another Mando movie. I mean, they've announced in
Yeah.
recently they've announced that Bob Iger has announced that they're just going to put a lot more focus into the movie side of things in both Star Wars and Marvel because they're like, we've really leaned heavily on the show stuff, which has been great. But there's also a big portion. There is a big audience out there that doesn't have Disney Plus that are
Right.
more likely to go to a one-time event to a movie, even though you have to pay for that, than to sign up a recurring payment on Disney Plus
Yeah.
month after month just because they love some Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
projects or anything like that. So I get that. So I wasn't really surprised by this. I actually read like the little headline of this article and was like, oh yeah, that makes sense
Yeah.
of what I kind of hoped. I don't hope that Mando comes to an end, but I hope that the movie doesn't
mystery
feel like a
there.
heightened episode of
Right.
the show. I want it to feel like a
I
movie.
want it to be.
A
Well,
Star
in
Wars
Mando,
movie.
they've got. You can watch Mando other places. It's been on on TV channels.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
Maybe the Disney Channel or something. But
Disney
Yep.
Channel.
I've
Yeah.
seen it on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Before we wrap up, too, Vincent said, "I can't believe Wolf was working for Hemlock." That's true. Not only was he alive,
Right.
he was actually working with Hemlock.
Right in
before
there.
Hemlock.
That'll leave some
Wolf.
scars. That'll do it.
Yeah, with the Commandos,
Mm-hmm.
That'll
Clone Commandos.
That'll
Right.
there.
I like that. I like the when talking about now looking at future Wolf, even a little bit more of like why he's got a lot of this trauma. I was like, also I was working for a witch doctor at one point. Like he's not only been like he's like had this weird relationship with the Empire. He like left when his brothers are like, dude, the Empire's bad, and he's like, I'm not so sure. He's like again one of these guys. You're like, dude, I wouldn't. He's one of these
Yeah.
guys that I'm like. Don't post your thoughts on social media.
Yeah,
Wolf,
it's not aging
because
well.
it's you're one of these guys that
Yeah.
like I don't know that I want to pick your brain on too many political topics. Like I'm afraid of what
Yeah.
might come out of your mouth. Like just
When-
sit silently with your
Right.
with your borderline at best
Yeah.
thoughts. But then also like I understand you've been through some
Yeah.
traumatic things.
And when he let them go too, my first thought was, well, he's gonna be like tortured for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only how does he survive, but I can see how he gets trauma.
It's
Like,
the
even
beginning
more
of the
traumatized. It's
trauma.
the beginning
Yes.
of what could happen.
You let them go.
Anyway. Anything else? Anything else you guys got?
I'm excited to.
Do we have a prediction? Throw one
Prediction?
prediction out.
I predicted it within the next 2 weeks.
We have another episode of Bad Batch.
We
We
get,
get an Acolyte trailer.
Oh,
yeah, I think we will too.
what's the,
Acolyte trailer
I don't know,
and
I just said
is
2
that
weeks.
summer?
I feel like it's coming
I'm
soon.
trying to remember.
June.
June. Yeah.
We are right now
June.
mid-March.
Man.
Without any. Now again,
Mid-March.
going back a full
believe-
year.
Coming soon.
Going back a full year. I don't know why that had to be jumped, but going back a full. It was 1884. I was in school with Inchworm. Inchworm. It was Goldilocks, Golden Bear.
Inchworm.
I just feel like most of his friends have a moniker. Or they have some code name.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Corn
are
pop
we
and
even? What
inchworm.
are we even? Come on.
Come on.
Oh, so we're doing here? We got Mando and Grogolorian. Grogolorian. Come on. Shot the whole thing in California. It's Favreau Way.
it's a
For some
Favreau
reason,
Way.
he gets Favreau's name right, but not the title.
he doesn't get the name right, but he also knows that
Favororian.
Favreau only shoots his movies in California.
Right.
Like for some reason, that's very specific knowledge.
That
he
piece
knows.
is solid.
That piece is dead on. Like that was we fact checked. That was shockingly accurate. That was really good. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I think Acolyte, with it being in June. Again, I like that they're not trying to step on each other's toes of like, here's
Yeah.
the next thing, and while you're doing this, get ready for this, because I don't.
Yep.
They want people to watch Bad Batch,
Mhm.
but also the audience for Bad Batch is not necessarily the exact same. Even though we watch both, there's a lot of people I know that aren't watching Bad Batch right now.
Mhm.
So
What are
I'm
you doing?
excited.
Wait, what?
for- Yeah, I call them fools. But I am very excited for Acolyte. And we've talked about it.
I can't wait for Acolyte.
Yep.
We've talked about it on, which, by the way, Shogun, I've heard on FX.
Yeah.
is getting unreal reviews.
I've been
about
watching
how good
that.
it is.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's so
I've heard
good.
it's so good. The reason I bring that up is
I
I
feel
heard
like I'm
people
watching
talking,
Tom Hardy. Like, it just feels that the main actor is like
Yeah.
killing
The
it.
reason I brought up Shogun
All
is
the
I've heard a
intrigue
lot
and the
of people
politics
say-
and the fight. Oh, it's amazing.
I've heard a lot of people say Acolyte feels a little Shogun meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon
Oh, but
meets
we're-
Star Wars with the Jedi. Like it's this very
Lightsabers instead of samurai
lightsaber-
sword.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I just
Man.
can't
It's
wait
gonna
for
be
that
cool.
for that feel. So
yeah,
I'm
I
excited.
can't wait. I'm
Acolyte will
so
be here
pumped
soon.
for Acolyte. It's gonna be great.
Good.
Acolyte.
Feel your acolyte.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We should be getting a trailer here soon. Still excited.
So that was
for,
your prediction.
for the rest of
That was
Bad
my
Batch.
prediction. Was in 2 weeks. It had nothing to do with Bad Batch.
Okay.
I think
Any
we'll get.
prediction? Any other prediction?
I don't know. I think we get Ventress soon
in the next. Yeah.
because it feels like that might happen while they're with Rex.
Right.
And them. I don't know. It feels like that's kind of all part of Omega finding out maybe the M count thing and that
Because they
seems-
got to
that
bring in
seems to be-
a
that seems to
bigger. It's not working with the dark clones or whatever.
Yes. Yep.
The shadow clones. They got to
Yeah.
bring in a bigger guy.
be,
That could
seems to be coming up
be. All right.
We're now what? Was that 7
next
episodes
couple
in?
weeks maybe.
Are we 7 episodes in?
7
Is this
episodes
6
in.
and 7 this
Yep.
week?
Yep.
I need to look up just to confirm that it's 16 episodes. Because if it's 12, man, we're really.
I threw that
we're
out
really,
there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just thinking
no,
wrong.
I just mean I really don't know either because, what 12 was?
Yeah, that's
12
where.
was Andor. Was 12?
Yeah, Andor's
Mhm.
12.
Which was the longest live action we've ever got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
apparently it's hard because it also takes like 5 years to make Andor.
Yeah.
Right.
It took a long time to get season 1, and
Yeah.
season 2 obviously got pushed back a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah.
But
My
Excited.
prediction is the
the assassin.
assassin is revealed, and it is
Next
somebody.
That we know.
Yep.
Somebody.
It's not a new character. It's a character that has some relevance.
I would like it to be a little on the nose, or like have our Bad Batch be like Wrecker's about to take off the helmet. He's like, "Who is this guy? I know he's someone. He's a nobody. I don't know him. I don't know him.
It's not even a clone.
Come back over the
Who's that guy?
It's not
And
even a
just some,
clone.
like,
It's some
regular-
random stormtrooper.
Just
that's
like
just
some accountant-looking fella.
Which, by
It's
the way,
Babu.
he had Wolf had clones and stormtroopers
Really?
mixed in with his
Oh, that's right.
with his
Yeah,
group.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
That's right.
combo. He had both.
They're in
But-
both in, so they're not everybody's.
Yeah,
not
everybody's
everybody's.
leaving.
Vincent said there's 15. There was there 15 episodes last season?
Might have been. It's
He said there's
Sarah's
15 episodes of the last season.
15.
15.
So I don't know if he means the last previous season or
this
season.
final.
Oh, this
season.
one.
Either
But-
way, we're about almost
Previous or
halfway
final?
through.
All right.
Almost halfway.
Almost. Can't wait. I'm excited to see the story unfold. Can't wait for Acolyte. I'm all here for it. I love
Yeah,
it.
man.
I
We're
love
in.
I love it. Excited. It's
yeah.
heading down a path. It feels like the final season,
Yeah.
It
which
does.
they've already announced, obviously. But it feels
This
like
is-
we're really
Feels
the
like
train
it, and it
moving.
is.
Yep,
Yep.
it's true.
And the sirens are going off, so they're wrapping us. It's the play music.
They're,
It is.
They're telling, wrap it up.
There's
Wrap
that
it up.
fateful sound.
Yeah. Anyway, if you made it this far, why? No. Thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend about us here at Star Wars Guys, and smash the notification bell. Check out
Like
Legion Sabers as well. Good sponsor. They'll be sponsoring us through
Yeah.
the remainder.
We're talking
of,
more
of
about
Bad
that.
Batch, so you'll hear a little
Yeah.
bit more about it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to comment some of your favorite things, maybe some predictions that you may see for Bad Batch or even Acolyte coming out. We're excited for it all. So we'll catch you guys in the next
Yep.
episode. And as always, may the Force be with you.
You shall be known as Darth Wrecker. All right, finally it's my time to shine.
Wrecker's got a hood on. By the way, Rex's like hood cloak thing he's got is sick.
That's Darth
I love
Wrecker
it.
right there.
That's about 10 seconds.
It's just everything's brute force.
Can't take the mice.
He's trying to.
Come here.